Welcome everybody to Meaning. Finally, we got here. We went through positive emotions. We went through growing. We went through what creates happiness in our life and flow and create passionate goals and ways that you can find strengths within you that will help you create passionate goals. And now we're finally up to meaning, because without meaning, our lives are not fulfilled. So how do we create meaning? Let's jump right into it. We're gonna start with explaining how growth is only great because it leads to meaning. So the more you grow, the more you're able to give. There are different types of meanings that you can have. And we're going to apply them to our life, like different situations. Without meaning, there's an existential vacuum. If you don't have meaning in your life, there's a certain lack, and that causes us to do stupid things and addictions. How to deal with stress. There's the psychological methods, and then there's the meaning methods. Let's jump right in. Growing in order to give. Growth without giving is not fulfilling. The sixth human need is to contribute beyond oneself. And the greatest meaning is to give. If one makes money, one can give to one's family. You can give to one's community. One can give money to the poor. Finding a job that helps others. Find a job that helps others in any way possible. That will be a very meaningful life. Like a teacher, a psychologist, a doctor, a lawyer. A lawyer helps others. Any business, really a true businessman is someone that says, hey, listen, I might be making money, but I'm also giving value to other people. That's a real business. A rabbi, even a cleaning lady, if they're happy helping the house owner. Getting married, there's a lot of meaning to that. Just the whole relationship and helping the other, being responsible for the other. Helping friends, listening to someone can be meaningful because you're helping someone else. You're just listening to them. Random acts of kindness. The list goes on. And finding meaning in your job, in your current job. Try to use your 5 character strengths in your job. And that will help with the growth process. But see that if the character strengths, some of them are connected to meaning, like giving or loving, having kindness. Look for a job that you're passionate about and meaningful. You know, if let's say you're in a job that you don't see meaning in, and at least, as we said before, at least you're growing in your job, but try to find some meaning in your current job. And if not, try to find a new job that will give you passion and that will give you meaning. Find ways to help your family and friends and community. Get married. It's a meaningful lifestyle. The course I'm creating is adding value to people. Try to add more value to people. That's what you want to do. That's the main idea of meaning. Become more spiritual, religious. That's meaningful. Play music that inspires others. That's meaningful. And maybe you can even find different hobbies that can help people. So these are just different ideas that I'm giving you to find meaning in your life. So Viktor Frankl, as we said before, believed that when someone doesn't have meaning in their life, there's an existential vacuum when one's life is empty of meaning. And that ends up in being addicted to alcohol, internet, to do violence, to have drugs. And actually, this is not just Viktor Frankl. Carl Jung's approach was that alcohol is really a spiritual yearning for a relationship with God. That's what he said. One of his patients, he said the only cure is by becoming religious. Because he believed that this person needed meaning in his life. And Carl Jung believed that the meaning that he needed is he had, as we said, the 7th human need is a connection with a higher power. And that's what he needed. So he didn't just need any meaning. He needed a meaning with a higher power. Now, with stress, there's 2 types of distress. One is situational and one's chronic. The difference between situational and chronic stress is situational is based on the situation that causes you to be stressed. But chronic stress is someone that's stressed for years and years and years. And he's just always in that stress. So a lot of psychology started doing the following. They started healing the past. And maybe certain things that caused them to have stress was either through CBT or EMDR or attachment theory or mindfulness, like healing the present, like being present in the moment. And that can be very, very helpful. But sometimes there's something in the person, which is if the person's lacking meaning, as we're about to say in a second, he can still be sad and still have this stress in his life. And that's why it's important to have meaning. Meaning can help us with chronic stress to find a meaning in our life. Because the difference between previous psychology and meaning is meaning focuses on the future. How can I make a better future? And that really, that really has to do with values. As we said before, we want to find our character strengths, and we want to create goals. And we also want to increase our values, not just our character strengths, but we want to know what's important in our life. And what's important in our life, besides for the character strengths, helps in creating a meaningful life. Because if you value kindness, which usually when you value something, it becomes your character strength, not necessarily. But if you value kindness, then that could be something meaningful. So you really want to get into your values. Like, what do you value? And that can also help besides for the character strengths. And lastly, relationships. And we're going to get into that in the last part of the course. So that ends our meaning part of the session, of the course.